Harley just revealed this past week a Road Glide CVO RR that they are selling for 6 figures. Blew my mind, but I think I understand why they did it. What's up? Jim here. Welcome back to J Street Moto. Welcome to the channel if it's your first time. Unless you live completely off-grid and don't go on the internet at all, or don't go on social media at all, don't go on YouTube at all, you've seen that Harley released, or they did a bunch of reveals, I guess, of the race replica version of the Road Glide CVO, and it comes with a hefty price tag. I think I've seen everything from $110,000 to $125,000 is kind of the range that it's going in. And this is not going to be a video that talks about that bike. Well, not about the specifics of that bike. There's a ton of content creators out there that have already, that have bigger channels than mine, that were invited to actually be there, take some video with the motorcycle, walk around it, ask questions. I don't fall into that category, at least not yet. Y'all can help with that. And so there's been a bunch of content out there about this motorcycle, and it is literally 50-50 in terms of the opinion in the general public about this bike, specifically about the price tag. Beginning of the week, when I first heard about it, I even myself was like, what the hell? But then I started thinking about it, and I'm like, I know guys, they go out and drop, hell, $40,000, $50,000 on a CVO, and then dump another $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 in parts into it, parts and labor. So they're at 80 grand, and the bike, I'm sure, is not going to perform anywhere near the way that this one does from the factory. Well, I take that back. Eventually, it's going to outrun it, and I'll tell you why, because I'm 99.9% certain. And please, Harley, if you're watching this, leave it down in the comments and tell me. If you're familiar with this motorcycle, maybe have ridden it, and you're watching this, leave it down in the comments and tell me I'm wrong. I'm willing to bet money that that motorcycle has a top speed limiter on it that does not allow it to go more than 120 miles an hour. So, okay, you can get to 120. If it'll let you go that fast. You can get to your limiter faster than anybody else can that's on a Harley Road Glide. Cool. That guy that doesn't have a Harley tune on it, he can wave to you as he blows past you at 140 miles an hour. So there is that. But there were a lot of people that were bad-mouthing it. They didn't like it. They didn't. And I was in that group. I won't say I was bad-mouthing it. I was more like, why would you do that, Harley? Why would you do that? And like I said, there are a lot of people that are customizing their bikes, and they're getting hell. You can find some pre-made custom bikes from builders. Those freaking things are going to run you, I've seen them as much as 80 grand off of that showroom floor. Do I think the bike has the cost in parts in it? Yes, I do. Here's the thing though about that motorcycle, guys. Whether you agree with the price tag, whether you disagree with the price tag, whether you think it's worth it, whether you don't think it's worth it, I can tell you right now, I can't afford that motorcycle. A lot of people can't afford a bike like that and wouldn't spend that kind of money to get a bike like that. But that's not the point of the motorcycle. Think about what has happened over the past week. I would argue that just by doing the development, which they were already doing for the race team, right? Doing the development and figuring out a way to make a limited production run, which didn't cost them a whole lot of money. People are talking about the brand again. They may be talking about Harley Davidson more now than they've been talking about it in the past decade. That's the brilliance of what they did by making this motorcycle, in my opinion. They've renewed interest around the brand. And in reality, that's really what this bike does. I mean, whether you like it or not, people are talking about it. Whether you hate the bike, whether you love the bike, whether your comments are negative or comments are positive, people are talking about that motorcycle and indirectly about Harley, sometimes directly about Harley. That's brilliant. They were brilliant for that. I mean, I can see no wrong in that. They basically made a PR campaign for the cost of the development on the bike. I believe that with the cost of that motorcycle and them making 131 of them, they're going to recoup a large portion of the development costs that were done for that motorcycle, the production costs that were done for it, and what they would have paid for an actual PR campaign. I would also argue that by doing this, they got a more successful PR campaign than anyone in the industry that does that for companies could have done for them. Think about this for a minute. Everyone is talking about that bike, the cost of that bike, what's going into that bike. Now, granted, there's going to be other impacts associated with this, right? They're going to trickle down parts, hopefully. There's some cool parts on that bike, but they're going to trickle down parts from that bike, hopefully, into, into the aftermarket so that the rest of us can get that and maybe add it to our bikes. Hell, the transmission for that motorcycle is already available on the Harley website. Went and looked it up before I made this video. video. I want to say it's right around $3,500 to get that Screaming Eagle race transmission. Now, do I think there's certain parts on that motorcycle that are not going to make it to the aftermarket? I do. I can't see it being financially viable for them to mass produce the swing arm that they did on that motorcycle. But anyway, I digress. That wasn't the point of this video. The point of the video is young people are talking about it, old people are talking about it, and the reality is one of the places Harley's really been lacking in the marketplace for motorcycles is the younger generation. Us old folks, man, we can only ride so long. We can only buy bikes for so long. If you don't have an influx of people in the next generation that are like, oh man, yeah, I really like Harley, I want to go get them, you are not going to be able to have that brand live very long if you don't bring in new customers, new blood to your brand. This bike for sure got people talking. It got people to look at Harley that might never have looked at them. And by looking at them because of that bike, now they're going, oh shit, well, look, they also have that. Oh wow, that bike, I want to go check that bike out. That might actually perform the way that I need it to perform. See what I'm getting at? I think it was P.T. Barnum that said there's no such thing as bad press, because no matter what kind of press you're getting, people are talking about you. Your name's out there. You're not in the background being forgotten. They got a loyal following, but that loyal following, it's not going to pay your bills indefinitely. So they've been kind of not really a player. The race series helped too. It did, to get their name out. But I think this was absolutely brilliant by them. Best money the company has spent on PR or marketing since as far back as I can remember. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say, ooh, I cracked the code, that's what Harley did it for. I don't know. And I don't have any inside track to know whether or not I'm right. Matt Sweatland or some of you guys that work at Harley, if you know, drop it down in the comments and say, Jim, you hit the nail on the head. It'd be nice to know if I'm right, but whether I'm right or wrong, it's what I think they were doing. And I think I'm right. If I'm not right, they just got the best, like, collateral help you ever get from doing anything, and they got it by accident. And I can't think that they're not smarter than that. I think they are smart enough to know, I know what we're getting when we do this. So yeah, I got to give them kudos. Whether you like it or not, whether you agree with the bike or not, whether you can afford the bike or not, whether you'll ever see one in person or not, and regardless of what happens to the motorcycles. A lot of these motorcycles are going to be bought by people and they're going to sit in a garage or a collection somewhere, and they're probably not going to be ridden, which is a shame, but that's just the reality of things. Regardless of any of that though, you can't deny Harley's being talked about, and if that was their goal by doing this, they have succeeded. Everything I've seen on social media, hell, half the content creators I follow on YouTube, shit, this is all they've been talking about for over a week. Since it revealed, it's all they've been talking about. That's a lot of eyes on it. I know that in most of the forums that I'm in, people started talking about it when they saw it. They're like, holy shit, what the hell's Harley smoking? Why would they think someone would pay six figures? People can go buy a Corvette or a Porsche for the cost of that bike. Harley doesn't care. They don't care if people are going to buy it or not, because I don't think that's why they made it. I think they made it to test stuff and to test the feasibility of certain parts they might bring to the aftermarket. But I think the big reason they made it was because it was so far out there for Harley. It got people talking about Harley again. It made them germane in the discussion. They're no longer just the luxury brand motorcycle for your father or your grandfather. And let's face it, guys, a lot of the technology they put on these bikes has existed in the sport bike arena for a long time. It's just no one's taken the time to adapt it to these big, heavier machines. That's my thought on it. I'm curious as to what you guys think. I truly am. Drop it down in the comments. Maybe you've got a different idea. I'd love to hear it and entertain it. Hell, if it's interesting enough, I might make another episode just about your idea. Drop it down in the comments and let me know. Do you agree or disagree with me? You're not going to hurt my feelings either way. I appreciate all the support you guys give me. I appreciate the views. I appreciate the comments, the likes, and all that stuff. I truly do. I'm getting ready to buy the first part for the build that I announced in the last episode. Probably purchasing it this week, I think, and I'll let y'all know when I get it. Thanks for hanging out. I'm going to meet Juan to go for a ride on this kind of dreary Sunday afternoon here in the Charlotte metro area. Do me a favor, like, subscribe, click the notification bell, share it with your friends. All that stuff is absolutely free to you, and it does help the channel. Always ride safe. Yeah, ready? 1, 2, 3, shoot. Ah. Asshole.
Really? Peace out, bitches!